Alright guys, we have a Frigidaire refrigerator here. The issue with this was the ice maker was not making ice. Customer stated that. So what you want to first do, by the way, check your display, make sure the ice maker itself is not turned off. Sometimes you can accidentally turn it off and your fridge or your ice maker will not work. So keep that in mind. Now, what you also want to do, you want to press the button and you want to make sure you can hear that fan. I did not hear the fan. I kept pressing the button. Make sure you close the right door and press the button up top. The fan, ice fan, should come on. So we're going to remove the ice box, and pretty straightforward. 3/4-inch screws, and it comes right on out. And I did not show the dismantle for the first piece, but you'll see it in the reverse when I was putting it back on. It's just 2 Phillips screws to pull the trim off, and then you gain access to the ice maker, which pulls out, and then of course the ice box. And to remove the ice fan housing, you need 1/4-inch screws. You need a long extension, and be mindful, be super careful once you get all the screws out. You want to keep your hand holding it once all the screws are out. You don't want to just let it fall. Now, chances are it won't fall because it's frozen. You can see some frost building up there, and under that you have a drain hole. Now, be mindful, there are harnesses behind it, so you will have to be very careful and reach over. I did not take the stuff out the fridge, but if you're doing that, you will have better luck with that because you won't be able to see everything behind it. But if you empty the unit, the refrigerator, you'll have a lot better access to be able to see where the harness is. I will show it to you and you'll see it. And just kind of wiggle. Now, if you notice it's frozen, do not force. You do have gaskets or seals that seals that ice room. It has to be sealed from the rest of the compartment. Otherwise, it will ice up and it will not produce ice. So don't damage the seals. There's your connector. You're going to have to squeeze and pull. And you're going to have a thermistor as well. So you have 2 things to unplug before you can safely remove it. Now, once it's out, there's some ice that I'm removing from the drain, and also had some ice in the fan itself that was holding the fan from turning. Now, these are that's your thermistor. Now, these are low voltage fans, so they don't require a lot of power, and anything can stop them. That's your evaporator. That's what makes ice, that area. Keep that drain nice and clean. In fact, you can get a little bit of hot water, pour it down there just to make sure it's not blocked, and that will keep your ice room nice and clean. So that's the fan, and we're going to connect it, and we're going to run the fan right now. Press the button, close the other door, press the button up top. Beautiful. Fan is working. It was not working before. So a lot of times it's nothing major, guys. Just take your time, open her up. But first things first, always do your unplug and see if that resets the unit. Sometimes the thermistor will be bad and that can stop your fan from operating. So all those things you have to keep in mind. But first things first, you always can use the tech sheet as well. It's either underneath the unit. So we're installing now the ice room, and be mindful of your connectors. Make sure they come through, the hole. That's your water hole. That's where the water goes into the ice maker itself. So you want to make sure that you can feel the point, meaning the spout, and make sure it's not pinched. And the ice maker has 4 tabs in the ceiling, and you basically push the ice maker up and slide it. Make sure it's seated on all 4. Now it's time to connect the ice maker. Make sure you push all the way back. It needs to go over the fan as well, so keep that in mind. And now we're going to connect the connectors, and we're going to be basically putting this thing back together. We're basically done. That covers the wires so nothing is exposed. And you have 2 tabs in the front that you slide. Then you have 1 screw that goes in the ceiling. Be super careful that you move your wires out of the way so you don't damage them. A damaged wire could damage the board or other component in the fridge. All right, that's a 1/4 inch screw into the roof or ceiling. And that's the piece. 2 Phillips screws, 1 at the bottom and 1 on the side. Alright guys, we're pretty much done with this. We're going to check the temperature on the unit. You always want to make sure your fridge is at the right temperature. Freezer should be 0. Refrigerator 36, 37. Even 35 is fine. Some people even 33, but that's rather cold. And double check your ice maker. Make sure it's turned on. If it's off, you will not make ice. Alright. Thanks for watching, and I do have videos in Patreon, so you can always check me out over there as well. Alright guys, thanks for the support.